The basketball team with national championship expectations to start out the year just lost their fourth game at Mackey Arena in yet another key matchup in Big Ten play.
You are Locked On Boilermakers, your daily podcast on the Purdue Boilermakers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into another episode of Locked On Boilermakers here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the number one sports podcast network where it's your team every day. I am your host. I am Nick Arvin. I talk Boilermakers every day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the only daily Purdue show out there. Also write about Purdue for Purdue 24/7. And last night, Purdue lost their fourth game of the year at Mackey Arena, yet another huge Big Ten conference matchup against Michigan State. They fought to the end, but Michigan State pulled it out, and there's a lot to talk about surrounding that game. A lot of bad, some good, but overall, a lot of disappointment coming out of Mackey Arena last night. We'll get to that and talk about what's wrong with this Boilermakers team, get into a few player grades for last night, what went wrong and why, and then finish off today's episode with Isaac Shade, taking a bit of an outlook as to where the national tournament bracket sets up right now and where the Big Ten tournament bracket sets up after a Purdue loss last night. We're going to get into all of that. There's a lot to talk about, but before we do, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fort needed. Vanilla cake flavor. Caffeinated cake and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Last night was tough. It was really tough. And as I'm filming this, I'm still pretty disappointed from the way that played out last night. It was a game that Purdue should have won. It was a game where Purdue outplayed Michigan State. But once again, it was a game where when Purdue needed the shots, when they needed that experience, when they needed that veteran presence, when they needed that killer instinct to show up in a big moment, it didn't happen. And that's been the concern all year long for Purdue, is a team with the expectations set preseason that they had, a team that said, hey, we're going to win a national championship this year or it's a bust. They sure haven't been playing like it. They sure haven't been playing like that down the stretch of games when they need it to happen. And it showed its head once again last night, showed its ugly head once again last night in the second half, where Michigan State, they get up by as much as 8 points with under 3 minutes left in this game. And I'll give it to Purdue. They were able to fight back in this ball game. Braden Smith made a couple big shots, and I still think that he outplayed Jeremy Fears. We'll get to that later in today's episode, but ultimately, when it matters, Jack Benner takes an outrageous, boneheaded shot at the beginning of the shot clock. Follow that up. You get a stop. Michigan State, they leave the door wide open. What happens next? Trey Kaufman-Ridden, he gets a good look, but can't convert. You have to foul. Cam Ward gives you yet another opportunity to try to win this game. 3.2 seconds left after Fletcher Loyer takes the ball up past half court instead of Braden Smith. That's a conversation for later that I will surely get into. Regardless, Braden Smith has yet another opportunity. Purdue has one more chance to win this game over Michigan State after all the opportunities that they gave Sparty throughout the course of this game. They somehow had one more opportunity to try to win this game. And guess what kind of look is drawn up? I don't know if this was the look that was planned or if this is just how it played out. But Braden Smith had the ball in no man's land, had to shoot it, chuck it up. Not even a shot, just had to chuck it up in front of Carr from 32 feet out. It doesn't go in. The ball hits the ground. The clock hits 0, and Michigan State wins at Mackey Arena for the first time in 12 years. It was disappointing for Purdue fans. It's disappointing for me. And now the Boilermakers have a lot of conversations that they need to figure out. Number one, why can't we win close games? Number two, why can't we beat good teams? Going into this season, you had about the best possible schedule you could have had, playing Illinois, Michigan State, and Michigan, all three of the biggest, baddest teams in the Big Ten at home in Mackey Arena, a spot where traditionally You've been good over the years. Mackey is our house, a place where teams aren't going to just go in and beat you. And that's part of the reason why Michigan State hadn't won there in 12 years. It sure hasn't felt like it this year. 4 losses: Iowa State, Michigan, Illinois, now Michigan State. All 3 of those games that you need to win, you lose in Big Ten play. Key game after key game after key game. Purdue has underperformed, and especially when it matters most. They were competitive against Illinois in the first half. They beat Michigan State flat out in the first half. If we take a look at this box score, almost every stat you're going to see has Purdue up. In the shooting percentage from 3, they won it. And rebounding margin, they won it. The points off turnovers is what cost Purdue. But overall, when you see those numbers, when you see out rebounding a team, out shooting them from 3, that should be enough to get a victory. But it wasn't in this game for Purdue. Braden Smith, he had a big achievement where he was able to hit 1,000 assists. Good for him. Top 5 in all-time leading assists in the NCAA. But when it mattered to start out this game, he was trying to force assists. He was trying to force flashy passes instead of taking easy layups. Wasn't being aggressive as a scorer, and it shows in the final score. Fletcher Loyer was lazy on defense in this game. Offensively, he was able to make a couple big shots, but his laziness on defense cost Purdue in this game. Overall, I can't really complain about the bigs. They were fine. At times, CJ Cox was slow. He did some okay things on Jeremy Fears, who, once again, I still think that Braden Smith outplayed Jeremy Fears even in the loss. CJ did some good things. The bench did good things. Ultimately, Purdue played well enough to win this game, and you have to credit Michigan State for some of that, turning 9 turnovers into 17 points off those turnovers, executing just exceptionally well off those turnovers. That's the reason why Michigan State comes out with a victory tonight. But you have to look yourself in the mirror if you're this Purdue team right now. The next game that you're going to play will be in the month of March. You have 3 regular season games to get it together before the Big Ten tournament. And you're telling me that you're not going to face off against a Michigan State or an Illinois or a Michigan in the Big Ten tournament if you want to get where hopefully the players want to get, but especially where the fans want to get, and that's at least to the semifinals, the championship of that Big Ten tournament. You're going to have to face off against one of those teams again. And it should be the expectation that you're capable of beating a Michigan State or an Illinois. They lost both times at home in Mackey Arena, which is supposed to be our house. It hasn't been this year. How are you going to win in March? How are you going to make a run to the Elite 8 when you can't win at home against Illinois and Michigan State? And that's not me discrediting how Michigan State played in this game or how Illinois played when Keaton Wagler went for 46 points in Mackey Arena. All I'm trying to say is that Purdue has not lived up to the expectations that the players, not the fans, the players set for this team preseason. It's up to these seniors to get it together, to figure this thing out before March. They had every opportunity to beat this Michigan State team. They held Jeremy Fears to just 12 points. I believe in this one. That should be enough to get a victory. You shot the 3 ball at a high level, shooting at 48% compared to Michigan State's 32%. That should be enough to win it. You out-rebounded them 27-25. That should be enough to win it. Your players played good enough, but it's not about the box score. This isn't a box score watching podcast. This is an eye test. This is I tell you what I see, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have not seen the fight or the passion from this team enough to make a deep run in March Madness. So until they show me that effort, until they show Purdue fans that have been bought in on this team because of the expectations set by the players, I don't understand why we're caring. I don't understand how these wins are going to happen because the killer instinct isn't there. These guys obviously don't care enough to win these games, or else it wouldn't get down to the wire like it was in this one. You wouldn't let Michigan State be up by 8 points at the end of this game. But ultimately, that's where we're at. These guys just don't care as much as they should, or else we would be winning games like this. End of story. Bottom line. Hopefully they get it together. The next three, something needs to change. I don't think it's anybody else. I don't think it's the way they're playing. I think it's the intensity and the passion that they have for this team and winning games this year. It's not there. We got to get it fixed. We're going to get into what's wrong with this team, get into a few player grades for last night against Michigan State. That's coming up here next on Locked On Boilermakers. But first, it's time for the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft. And my number one overall pick has to be one of those rookies, one of those new guys coming up to the 5-hour energy lineup. It's Confetti Craze. Confetti Craze has been my go-to as of late for 5-hour energy. Sugar-free, so you don't get the crash of other energy alternatives, but you also get that caffeine that can keep you going throughout the day. Confetti Craze is sweet. It's the perfect option. If you want a dark horse, though, I have been on that cotton candy 5-hour energy a little bit. It's really good. You guys have to try it out. I've been trying it out. That would probably be my second round pick. Maybe I'd trade up to the first round for some cotton candy. Anyway, either way you go, 5-hour energy is a can't lose. All the flavors are great. I like to try them all, mix and match every now and then, but it is a go-to for my everyday life. As you guys know, I'm busy here on Locked On Boilermakers talking about all this nonsense going on with the team, so I'm going to need some cotton candy 5-hour energy to get me through. Find your new flavor of 5-hour energy shots available at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, well, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is actually getting tickets, long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at the checkout. Well, that's why the Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. And right now is the best time because you can get tickets to the Big Ten tournament, March Madness games, even that final matchup against Wisconsin at home in Mackey Arena. You can get tickets there. It's accessible. It's the best prices in the business. No stress, no guesswork. Just a smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. So take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going wrong with the Purdue Boilermakers. Get into my player grades for last night's loss against Michigan State. Before we get into that, though, I do just want to tell you guys about a couple cool things. First of all, it's my first season here at Locked On Boilermakers. It's been a little bit up and down with the way that this season has been going, but still, I have this milestone of hitting 1,000 subscribers. I may lose a couple subscribers in this episode, but I'm going to tell it how I see it, and I'm going to tell it how I feel. I will not fold the pressure from Twitter burners or anything else. The way I feel is the way I'm going to say it here on my show. If you guys like that, please hit that subscribe button. It is free. It means the world to me. Really helps us out a lot. Second thing is the Locked On Podcast Network and Locked On Boilermakers are bringing you guys out that Everydayer Club. We've already got some great Everydayer members. What that is if you're an Everydayer, you make this show go because you're here every single day. You're going to get Locked On Boilermakers content you already love, but ad-free. Not just that, you're also going to get access to our exclusive Discord chat. Me, all the Everydayers, Locked On College Basketball, Locked On Big Ten, Locked On Boilermakers, whatever you want, you got it. Link down below for you guys to check that out. To mention what I said in the previous segment, truly what I believe, what's wrong with this program right now, it falls on those seniors. And I'm not necessarily saying it's all of them. I'm not necessarily saying it's just one of them. But it's pretty evident to me when you lose 4 games at Mackey Arena, when this is the team that, in my opinion, to my knowledge, maybe those Edie teams are up there, but probably the most hyped up team in terms of expectations I have ever seen at Purdue. And for a team like this to go into a year and then lose 4 games at Mackey Arena, and not just that, lose to Michigan State for the first time in over a decade, it's clear to me that something's wrong. And it's not the talent. it's been proven that it's not the talent because this team has won tough games on the road. They went to Alabama. They took on Loyer and Phylon. They went to Balhamar and beat Texas Tech with a healthy JT Toppin. They went on the road and beat Nebraska. The talent isn't the issue. The issue is the consistency, and that stems from the fact that these guys just don't care as much as they need to. If they did, you wouldn't have blown a lead to Michigan State. You wouldn't have lost to Illinois and allowed Keaton Wadler to put up 46 points. It's stuff like that. It's the effort. It's the hustle. It's the will to win. It's not there in this team, and I don't understand why when they set those expectations. So that's number one. Before we look at anything on the court, anything that they actually do in terms of the fundamental game of basketball, it comes down to the mentality of this team and just not wanting to win games the way that they should want to win games. That's my biggest issue right now with this Purdue team, especially when you have the seniors that you do. But when you look at a game like this against Michigan State, against this team, it's allowing the other teams to play their best possible basketball. Michigan State is the same team that let UCLA come back and beat them less than a week ago, yet they come into Mackey Arena and beat you the way that they did, coming back in the second half. Down the stretch, Michigan State made all the plays. Now, they left the door wide open for Purdue at the end of the game, but it says something about a team when the opposing squad is the one that makes plays when it matters in your home building. That's what Michigan State was able to do. All the credit to them, all the credit to Izzo, but you have to look in the mirror when that continues to happen. How do you continue to let other teams play their best basketball when they play you? Michigan State had 7 different guys over 8 points. Talk about depth. This is a team that's been their biggest concern is, can they find that depth? Can they get that deep rotation? Against Purdue, they found all the answers to their questions that they were looking for. So that is absolutely concerning for this team. I don't know all the answers. I don't know top to bottom. I'm not a basketball coach. I'm not Matt Painter. I can't tell you exactly what's going wrong with this team, but any fan could tell you, looking at this team, that the effort is not there. It's unfortunate, and it's not okay that other teams play at their best every time they face off against Purdue. And then the situational basketball where Fletcher Loyer, he takes the ball up instead of Braden Smith. Jack Benner takes a crazy shot at the end, not getting a play drawn up for Braden. One of the bigs, legit anything would have worked better than shooting it from 32 feet. There's a lot of questions right now. Once again, I'm not a coach, but I will put on my teacher's cap and give these guys a few player grades before we get into our bracket outlook, Big Ten outlook with Isaac Shade. First of all, we'll start with Trey Coffin-Wren, and we're going to make this quick because I want to have a lot of time for Isaac. Trey Coffin-Wren was fine. A B, had 7 assists. That's what sticks out to me in this game. Oscar Clough, he was good, quick from the start, really cemented himself, but in the second half kind of went cold. 4 rebounds, 10 points. He was okay. He's going to get a C plus, B minus. CJ, he was fine. That's my thing. It's like looking down at these grades. None of these guys necessarily had a bad night. You just don't play well enough in the situational clutch time moments to get out with a victory. CJ still at a B, and he's one of the players that I would say wasn't great for Purdue compared to other guys. Braden Smith, 12 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, was a really good player, had 1,000 assists, broke 1,000 assists, but not getting to those layups early, that hurt Purdue, even with a double-double in this one. Braden's going to get a C plus for me, even with that. Fletcher Loyer had 8 points, 4 assists, but didn't play defense in this game, was falling asleep on the defensive side. He's going to get a D plus, C minus grade for me. Jacobson dunked on someone, got dunked on. Crazy game for Jacobson. He's going to get a C because, I mean, he was fine, but oh my goodness, did he get dunked on. Omer made a few big shots, clutched up to give Purdue another possession by locking up Jeremy Fears, but that's going to get swept under the rug because Purdue couldn't do anything with it. He was solid, B plus. Jack Benner was good outside of that boneheaded shot he had at the end. 11 points. The boneheaded shot takes him down to a B minus for me. If he didn't take that boneheaded shot and Purdue came out of this game with a win, B plus, A plus game for Jack Benner. Jakari Harris was okay. 1 of 4, didn't do enough on the offensive side to get a good grade. He's going to get a C minus. And overall for me, the Purdue Boilermakers, after a performance like this, are going to get a D. They play good basketball, which makes me want to give them a better grade. But the fact that you can't get it done in the situational moments, you need to get it done. You can't get it done in the clutch. These seniors, the experience that you have isn't enough for this team to get big time victories. It's really concerning going into this month of March, and it's just a couple days away, 2 days away. Ohio State is on March 1st. That's one that I'm concerned about now after this game. Going on the road to Columbus, I don't know. I'm getting on a tangent. It's time to look at the Big Ten outlook for the tournament. Can Purdue still get to that triple bye even after a loss to Michigan State? What's their seeding situation looking like in the NCAA tournament? Well, I talked to Isaac Shade last night on Locked On College Basketball about that, and that's coming up here next on Locked On Boilermakers. But first, CoastPay is giving Locked On College listeners up to $2,000 of credit for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, construction, HVAC, landscaping, any operations with trucks on the road, you already know how messy gas and material spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappear, and months end turns into a headache. CoastPay fixes all of that. CoastPay is the modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets, fuel maintenance, materials, all on one card with real control and instant visibility. Every transaction shows up the moment it happens. No surprise if someone fuels up at an odd time or tries to buy something outside their limit. You'll know instantly. It works anywhere where Visa is accepted, no detours to specific stations, and it's built for operators who don't have time to chase paperwork. And unlike old fuel cards, there are no contracts or commitments, just smarter expense control. And right now, CoastPay is offering up our listeners up to $2,000 of credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockedoncollege to see how you can earn up to $2,000 in credit. Terms apply. The Coast Visa commercial credit card is issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval.
All right, Nick, let's look at the Big Ten standings after this because it presents some interesting things now. Obviously, Michigan, 3 games up on everybody else, sitting there at 16-1 right now. Following the game tonight, you've got Nebraska, Sparty, and Illinois all tied for second at 13-4. Purdue now falls to 5th at 12-5, but obviously just 1 game back. Things can change in a quick hurry with still 3 games to go. And then Wisconsin and UCLA tied for 6th at 11-6. So, Nick, a lot can happen here. There is, as you've been talking about, actually, I'm going to pull it up. I went and downloaded the bracket because I wanted people to see how crazy this new bracket is. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it there. It looks like the West Coast Conference bracket, which is also wacky. But so the top 4 teams all get a triple bye. 5, 6, 7, and 8 all get a double bye, and then you got the other stuff. And so going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Nick, I know for Purdue, as we sit here and look at it, it's Ohio State, it's Northwestern, both on the road, and then Wisconsin at home. I know this loss is frustrating, and it means 2 out of 3. But it feels to me like Purdue should be able to take care of business here in these last couple games. And I honestly, I haven't looked in real time at Nebraska, Sparty, or Illinois' schedule to see what they've got. But
Nebraska travels to the West Coast. So that's something I want to look at as they take on USC and UCLA on the West Coast. And then home
for Iowa.
Yeah.
Illinois
that's not a gimme.
No, Illinois is home to Michigan, home to Oregon, at Maryland. And then for Sparty, they've got, no, I'm looking back at Nebraska's there. I got off of Sparty's. Hang on. For Sparty, they've got at Indiana versus Rutgers and at Michigan. So, like, I feel like of those schedules, Purdue's is the most doable, right? Like, that feels true to me.
I agree with you. The only thing that I look at now is the fact that you lost to Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State. So all those teams do have a tiebreaker over you.
So you got to get 2. Yep.
In the case that Michigan State maybe loses to a Michigan, but they're able to win out the rest of that schedule. If Purdue wins out, they would still be behind Michigan State. So that's the one thing that does concern me. In terms of the easiest path to getting that triple bye, I think it's through Nebraska, because Nebraska does lose to Purdue a couple weeks back on that Tuesday night game. They have to go to the West Coast and then Iowa, which is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination, at home. I think that's probably your easiest path.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on Nebraska for all my Purdue fans out there. With that being said, though, we still have to take care of business. And at Ohio State on Sunday, that's definitely a game that could give us a little bit of trouble. I think that Ohio State's been playing solid basketball as of late. If you lose to Northwestern, I don't want to be
just quit.
Part,
just quit at that point. Like
just quit. Done. I don't want to be a part of that timeline. And then Wisconsin at home to end out the regular season. That could also be a tough game. With
it is tough. I mean, they got those. Yeah, the Blackwell Bird combo, man, is tough to mess with.
They're really good as well.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
For Purdue fans out there, I'd keep an eye on Nebraska going forward. I don't really see Michigan or Michigan State losing enough games, losing 2, and then Purdue winning out in that case. Can we take a look at Illinois real quick, Isaac, one more time?
Yes, Illinois.
I don't have it pulled up.
You're great. I lost it too. Oh, here we go. Okay, Illinois. Home to Michigan. That's obviously tomorrow night, Friday. Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Home to Oregon. Oregon, who by the way just beat Wisconsin, speaking of, and then at Maryland. So Michigan, that's tough, but it's at home. And then Oregon and Maryland should win both of those games, but you never know.
Yeah, it's like a pick 'em tomorrow, Michigan and Illinois. So
call
that one.
Yeah. I know we said FanDuel is 1.5. Ken Palm has Michigan by 1, so it's gonna be a close game.
Call it a pick 'em. That could go either way.
Yep.
I don't see Illinois losing to Maryland or an Oregon, really.
No.
So I guess it's just up to Nebraska. Nebraska has to lose a game, and Purdue has to win out to get a triple bye at this point,
and here's the thing, like down the stretch of conference play, crazy things happen. And so I think we keep our eyes on it and see what happens there for Purdue. As for NCAA tournament seeding for both of these teams, Joe Lunardi did put out his most recent bracketology update on Thursday afternoon, had Purdue as a 2 seed, still number 6 overall, Sparty as a 4 seed, number 14 overall. And in his little liner for the game preview of this game said, I don't really see, regardless of the outcome of this game, it affecting either team seeding, especially now that we know that the outcome was just a 2-point win. Maybe at worst for Purdue, they slide to 7 overall, but still a 2 seed. Maybe for Sparty with a road win over Purdue, maybe they move up to 13 overall. Maybe they move up 2 spots to 12 overall. That'd get them a 3 seed, but ultimately I can't see more than a 1 overall spot slide for either team.
I could see Michigan State moving up to a 3, honestly, right
on the
the back end 3, high 4 range. I could see them sliding into a 3. I don't think that Purdue will fall out of a 2.
No,
this was a game where it's like they have the opportunity to all but likely cement a 2 seed with the win over Michigan State. Maybe keep the door open for a backdoor 1 seed. That's out of the window now.
I think that's right. That's right. Yep.
There's no chance that Purdue is able to get a 1 at this point. The 2 seed is still definitely open, but there is a chance that you fall down to a 3 if you're not perfect the rest of the way. Say you lose to an Ohio State on the road on Sunday, I definitely could see this team falling out of that 2 seed. Same if maybe the Wisconsin game doesn't go their way. There's a lot more pressure on Purdue now after this loss to Michigan State to be really talented, be really good in order to pull out that 2 seed. It could go either way, though. Honestly, I think that will probably be the 7 or 8 when the next bracketology comes out. But to Lenardi's point, I don't feel like a 2-point loss and one where you were extremely competitive, played really good basketball should hurt this team. And they said on the broadcast, this was a game where it was more impressive that both Michigan State and Purdue were able to play as good basketball as they were, and more just goes to show how important that it's going to be for other Big Ten teams to really build up a resume trying to compete with Purdue or Michigan State for that top seed. And with that being said, these are teams that you're going to want to watch out for if it comes March with the talent on both sides.
That's absolutely right. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's so here. Like Next weekend is the end of the regular season, and it's going to be electric. All right, you guys, super fun being able to break down this game. Again, Michigan State goes to Mackey and wins 76-74. Braden Smith missing a deep three at the buzzer. That would have been wild, by the way, had that gone down.
I would have gone crazy on here.
Bonkers scene it would have been, but it was not to be. Nice contest from Cohen Carr then at the end. You guys, I want to thank you all for being here with us. With Nick and I here on a Thursday evening, wrapping up this game, talking about it. If you haven't already subscribed and checked out Locked On Boilermakers, go do that so you can hear everything Nick's talking about in the ending of the regular season and the lead up to the postseason. Make sure to stay locked in here with Andy and I on Locked On College Basketball. Again, we will be live tomorrow morning at 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific Time, getting you ready for the weekend. Again, 6 more ranked on ranked games between Friday and Saturday. It's going to be crazy.
It'll be fun.
Stay tuned for that. As always, man, we got to say apologies to the Loyer family, especially tonight because we lost. Let's go Wild Popes. Cheers to the McBruins. And until next time, peace.